Japan yields are going vertical. 20-year, 40-year JGB yields both just printed record highs today. USD JPY 157, very close to yen intervention. What does this all mean? We all know what it means. We're going to talk about that. But also, we got news today. Morgan Stanley no longer expects the Fed to cut rates in December. Nobody does. In fact, the chance has just dropped to 32%, was 35, now down to 32 as I'm recording this video, of a chance of no cut in December, which is ultimately not good for the markets. Now, why? The U.S. Labor Department officially published the September jobs report today, 48 days late. The U.S. added 119,000 jobs in September, above expectations of 53,000, which is a huge blowout. The unemployment rate rose to 4.4%, above expectations of 4.3. Unemployment is at its highest level since October of 2021. Well, the big issue is that no good data is good data. That is because some good data affects other data. That means it's bad data. And I know that sounds so complicated, but that's really what is happening. However, the Japanese yen carry trade unwind is possibly still going on. Again, I don't want to put everybody onto this, but disregarding, assume you were against this entire theory. Let's just take a look basically at the charts and assume the theory is a bunch of bullshit and fugazi, which it's not. This is what big money does. It's big institutions, and anybody trying to tell you that this doesn't happen is just wrong. But everyone trying to tell you that it's always in play could also be wrong. Okay, let's just take this from a basic standpoint. The last time we saw these spikes, one back here, here, every single time, same exact time frames mapped out. What did we see on GameStop? And no, guys, this isn't sugarcoating it. It's not telling you to only rely on this. This is just common sense. I'm looking at the charts. You see a spike back here. GameStop jumped about 60% in a week or two, right? We obviously saw the Roaring Kitty time frame, but ultimately ran about 380% to 600%. We saw a spike right here, 18%. Again, some spikes are smaller than others as you look at these charts that I have mapped out, right? And then some spikes are larger, right? This one ultimately eventually ended up scaling higher, carrying us all the way to 38 bucks. I remember 80%. And then you have the most recent kind of pop and rally here, up about 27%. Now we're at the highest that we have seen so far, and this thing is going parabolic. We haven't seen it go straight up like this in quite some time. What does this all mean? Long story short, I am expecting some big moves on GameStop, but are they right around the corner? Well, possibly. As big money's loading up, $22 million worth of GameStop dark pool prints already happened yesterday, and then some are coming in today as well. We are in this big order block, but we also have to pay attention to what's going on with the market. Based on our bars pattern, we still have this drop and then an initial flush that we haven't seen yet, which we could be seeing, and then us carry over into a squeeze, right? So the longer the pressure builds without anything happening, the bigger the move. So just stand by that. AMC trying to build a base, still bleeding below 215. I don't know where the bottom is. At this point, we don't know how hard AMC is going to bleed down. But assuming that these are going to correlate with what's happening with the market, they're going to bleed a lot. The SPY is down 669.20. It tried to rally today, came into this liquidity zone, rejected 675. This is beautiful because yesterday we saw market weakness on bounces and we talked about it. Today, we saw a bounce, but still on technical weakness. And then when you saw red candles, more volume ended up coming into the chart. Our plays are still playing out. Everything is looking good. You could see a possible hold at the bottom of this wedge around 667. So watch that. 667 to 667.60 for a possible pop and continuation higher towards 677 or 681. That's also a possibility. However, we look at a couple other charts. What happened with the SPY? We rejected very closely to this trend line right here. Now we're coming down, trying to fill a gap at 667.30. That would be the possible bounce zone. Also in this liquidity zone that held very, very strong support. So as we are seeing weakness, this isn't a guaranteed confirmation that we will flush right here, but it's looking more and more likely that this is going to continue to flush down. Why is that? Well, first of all, aside from the momentum indicators fading, we still have this cross even with today's pop, and we are just beginning to begin a downside trend, right? Downside trend. And this wick couldn't even surpass the middle of this body candle. So sellers are very much so in control, very much so in control. On top of that, if the carry trade is still in play, this leads to selling of US assets. This will lead to the sale of risk on US assets by big money, which would be our overall market. So we could see a flash down if things get unstable, which they are right now. They're unstable, and this is where big money, big capital will rotate. I want to see a flash down in the market and then a squeeze on the market, as well as GameStop, AMC, so on and so on. Nvidia, fuck you, Nvidia. Sorry for the language. 189, we are down. The puts are now slowly becoming in profit. They will be, at least, probably once I'm done recording this video. Watching for a move and us to break into this put block sub 180. We could get a bounce at 186.40. I don't want to see that. I want to see Nvidia continue to bleed off. I knew that, and I called it yesterday in last night's video. If you haven't seen it, we weren't going to test this call block above 200 because that market makers don't want to buy this. They don't want a delta hedge. They know what's coming. They know what's under the surface. And right now it's bearish. It is bearish, and I'll remain bearish. Things that also got to pop is Tesla. Tesla came up, but it didn't break its crucial threshold that we had drawn out. This tiny little liquidity box that we had on the chart getting rejected here as well. Still showing that the bounce on the market, the bounce on Mag 7, the bounce on Bitcoin has all been soft. We're in a weak baby market, and we could be in for a very brief correction territory, brief bear market. Bitcoin can't even hold 100. It can't even hold 90 now. We're now at 88,600, retesting the level that I called out, looking to actually get a clean, solid break below as red volume comes in. Very bad for longs. Meta, weak bounce. Couldn't even break back over 607. Also weak bounce. Now, one thing very much so bleeding off is MicroStrategy. Couldn't hold this liquidity box, couldn't hold this trend line. Now it's testing a key level of support at 179.25. If this breaks on MicroStrategy, this thing can flush all the way down to 110. Be very careful if you are longing MicroStrategy here. Last but not least, the White House announced it's shutting down the Department of Education. Finally, if you know, you know. I mean, realistically, I agree with that. I think the Department of Education is, one, made to make employees, and two, the curriculum is being fed with brain dead nonsense that is not aiming society in the proper trajectory. But that's all for another video separate from the market, but I figured I would include it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Again, nothing has changed to the positions. I have people coming into the channel day in and day out that I literally just remove from even being able to watch my videos because it's so annoying, that just consistently bitch. Please don't be one of those people. If you are not making money, then I don't know what to tell you. There's really nothing else to tell you. Get in the Discord, guys. That's the top link in the description. 400 subscribers from yesterday dropped off the channel. This is just exactly what I was talking about. You guys are fighting the system here. Make sure YouTube keeps you subscribed, and go tell your friends to subscribe. Top link in the description for my Discord server. Link under that is for my custom indicator, all that good stuff. In the Discord, we talk stocks and crypto, best vibes, best people, and before the market opens, I drop levels that usually pan out to a T. So get in the Discord, guys. We also have tons of AI trade alerts in there and more. I love you all. God bless. Lottery Stocks out.